Hello viewers, you're welcome to Akweya TV, the English service. And on the show today, we're going to be talking education. What are the opportunities that COVID-19 has thrown up with respect to education of our rural children, the children in the rural areas? You've heard of lockdown, and during the lockdown, many schools had to go online, teaching their children using WhatsApp, using the internet. COVID-19 seems to have thrown up a new way of life. But Nigeria has over 11 million children out of school. A good thing has happened recently as the northern governors decided to disband the Almajiri system. However, there's still a lot to be done. It's just an opportunity that has been thrown open. So in this episode, we're going to have a conversation with someone who has innovated. He runs a company, a tech company, and he's a philanthropist who has gone to several parts of Nigeria, particularly from Akweya land, where he hails from. And he has innovated, showing how rural education, remote rural education can happen. And he has pioneered this during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm talking of the managing director and founder of TechVibes, Mr. Michael Oglegba. You're welcome to Akweya TV.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
Yes. So, can you tell us about this initiative that you pioneered in Adim village?
Okay. First of all, I would love to share the need for that kind of thing to happen. Right now, if a child finishes school and does not understand technology or can use any of the devices provided to offer a service or to understand it, they will be educated but of no use to the new world. So it's important that at some level, at some time, we need to address this so that the person in the village, in the most remote place, would have a taste of what technology can deliver, can think about how they can use this to improve lives, their lives and others. That said, the COVID challenge threw up a challenge for us. And first of all, for you to be able to deliver a lesson and for children to understand it and use a device to receive it, there has to be internet.
Yeah.
They need to have they have to have devices, a laptop, a phone. They need to have power. As you know, this will most African villages to be challenged by this.
Yes.
If one is present, the other will not be present. If the internet is there, what's the bandwidth available? So, because of this, it now becomes very difficult to deliver this. So what we've done is to create a system whereby we deliver these lessons to a head teacher or a school through a system. So one person receives the lesson. Okay. And then that person now, what we did was, so you have 30 students in the classroom.
Okay.
So you have 30 notebooks.
All right.
So each child has their name on each notebook, right?
Okay. Is that an electronic notebook? No,
physical notebook.
Okay.
Physical manual notebook. And then at the same time, you have a textbook that each child already has. So on a particular Monday, the teacher writes, okay, today we are doing from page 1 to page 10.
Okay.
That's a practice question.
Okay.
So the teacher writes out a practice question, how it is solved on page 1, and says do questions 2 to 10.
Okay.
And then hands it over to the community leader, who now hands it over to the children individually. So the children take a whole week to solve all the questions, maths, English, and science, 3 subjects.
Okay.
Now, so at the end on Friday, the children return the same document to the community leader.
Okay.
And then they hand it over to the teacher. Okay. So the teacher takes their time and writes comments over the weekend. But Monday morning, each child has a 5-10 minutes with the teacher.
Okay.
So when you bring in your questions, they look at it, your answers, they look at it and say, you did wrong here, you did right here. So there's one-to-one counseling and then the next question for the next week,
Mm.
they are set, right?
Mm.
And then the children go back.
Right.
So that way, there's interaction, there's minimum interaction between parent and, the teacher and the student, and there's no mass gathering.
Yeah.
At the same time, there's learning going on.
Yes.
There's serious learning going on.
Mm.
Now, we encourage that people who are educated among the populace can also help the students at home as they study.
Okay.
Because that's one of the things that, so if they're confused, if they're thrown, that helps.
Mm.
Another thing we've done is that the teacher must go around the community.
Okay.
So if there's any way a child needs help, they are always there to provide that help.
Mm.
That way, learning goes on, even with schools closed, even when there are no devices, no technology, no internet to receive.
Yeah.
Now, so the only person that needs to have internet access is one, the head teacher, and maybe the teacher.
Okay.
So.
And you've introduced the community leader into this.
Yeah,
mix,
the community leader
is
so
an
the
innovation.
PTA chairman.
Okay.
The PTA chairman is the one who receives the assignments.
Okay.
The community chairman makes sure every child gets it. So the community is involved, the PTA is involved, and then the teachers are deeply involved. Everybody is. Education is a collective thing. When you send a child to school, the responsibility for educating the child is the parents' own and the community. Yeah. You only abdicate this responsibility, not abdicate fully, but you only loan it to the teacher and the school. So it's our responsibility to make sure that the children learn.
Okay.
So it's a shared thing. That's what's going on there. And the testimony out of all this is that the children love it.
Whoa.
There's interaction between the students and the teachers, and then there's something that's happened. The teachers now know the homes of these students.
Yeah.
So you know the person, you know there's bonding that's gone on.
Yeah.
And for the first time, some parents are forced to be involved in what their children are doing.
Wow.
Which is also good for the system.
Yeah. This is amazing. So does this, I remember in some years ago, teachers had to down tools for like 9 to 12 months in Benue, and because they were not being paid, there was lack of motivation. How do you maintain motivation with this system? Because a teacher now has to go around. Is there something you give to them? How do they stay motivated?
In our system, because the teacher needs to be encouraged to do their job.
Yeah.
They need to be sure that somebody has their back.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, that somebody is there for them. So we ensure the teachers are paid.
Okay.
And so what we do is we pay them. We pay them the regular salary, and then for this period that we know that they need to move around and do more, we had to step up and make sure that the teachers get what is due them. It's if somebody has worked, they must be paid.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's simple. It's straightforward.
How does the community contribute in any way to these extra costs?
At this time, maybe a few individuals may come up, but one thing we have to understand is that we are dealing with the rural community, who still, you're trying to sell a product to them they're not sure they need yet.
Yeah.
So while some may know that education is important, they don't know, they may not have realized how much.
Yeah.
So if you wait for the community to bring in the funds to do this thing, you will wait forever. So you need to appeal to those who have gone ahead, who have understood that this is important. And so just task yourselves to make this happen. Most communities will not willingly, out of their own, bring out funds to do this.
You have built classroom blocks, done a lot of things across Akweya communities, and I'm sure in some other places too. One thing that this experiment and a few other experiments we've heard on Akweya TV from other people, one thing this experiment seems to show is that maybe classroom blocks are not very needed for education to happen. Is that something you think is true?
Well, I think the approach. Let me talk about what has happened here in our country. Is that when government discovers that there's a problem in a particular sector, they create this huge bureaucracy, create the structures, and then spend money on the bureaucracy, and then the problem persists. Now, building classrooms is not the only solution to the problem.
Yes.
It is good to have a conducive atmosphere for learning, but you would understand that most communities have community halls.
Okay.
They have empty buildings. They have places that, even places of worship that are empty.
Yeah.
These are places that can be converted to temporary classrooms or even permanent ones.
Yeah.
But if we spend all the money building classrooms and there's no content, we've done nothing.
Yeah.
So we must focus on what is important. Learning must be important.
Yes.
In my own experience, I will share with you what happened. We built classrooms for in Adim, thinking that was a problem.
Yes.
Because when I went to the school was dilapidated, and there was nothing. I mean, we had just a single teacher. So after building the classroom, I went back a few months after, and we still had the same problem. The students in class 6 still couldn't write their names.
Wow.
Just write a simple name. It was a problem. So I said, yes, we built the classroom. If you don't provide teachers, you haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So we got teachers. That still didn't solve the problem, because the teachers came into the old system of doing things where they imagined that they were doing everybody a favor by taking up the job. The students still were not learning. So unless the teachers know what to teach, they are motivated, the students equally understand, then the parents understand the need for the children to be fully engaged. It won't work.
Wow.
It won't work.
So you, education policymaker out there, don't focus too much on building classroom blocks. We're not saying classrooms are not important, but there are other aspects, isn't it?
So many.
Okay.
One thing that's very key, involve the community.
Okay.
It is a responsibility of the parent and the community to train and educate the child. If they don't understand the meaning and the importance of education, this would never work.
Yes.
A simple example. You go to a typical village, somebody dies in the village, all the children in that village don't show up for school for 3 days.
Wow.
Until that person is buried, and then the ceremonies are held. Typical thing that happens in a Nigerian village. Now, it means that if you have 5 people buried in the particular village in a term, they will have lost 15
days.
And that will impact terribly on the quality of education and what they get. So unless the community come to understand that this practice is hampering progress, unless somebody is directly involved with somebody that dies, there's no need to close the school.
Wow.
A simple thing. In some communities during the rainy season, the children go to the farm to help the parents. It's good to help your parents, but not at the expense of education. And in many communities, once the community is involved, if a teacher is not doing well, the parents get to know, and they tell the school. So there's everybody's watching everybody. But if the community is detached from the school, then there's chaos.
In all of this, finally, just before you go, what motivates you? Why you're not going to go and live in Adim village with your children? Not likely in the nearest future. So why are you spending so much money, time, and energy doing this?
Well, 2 reasons. There's something called commonwealth. Even the white man describes it as commonwealth. If you are rich and someone else is poor, if you take an average of what you have, you become poor. If you are rich and majority are poor, you become poor. If you are rich and the other person is poor, he will jump over your fence someday and rob you. And so you can't live a quality of life higher than what everybody else is living. You are living in deceit. If you drive a big car and the roads are bad, you are poor because you won't enjoy that ride. So it's commonwealth. It's commonwealth. So as much as possible, you must help everybody raise the standard of life that they've come to understand. Number two reason is you give birth to a child. It was never their decision to be given birth to.
Yeah.
It was never. So it just happened that they were born in Adim or in some other village. It is our right. It's our duty as parents to provide the most conducive environment for this child to grow and flourish. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
So it's our responsibility as parents. So I consider the children in Adim school as all my children.
Yeah.
The 350 children in one school, and then many in the whole of Akweya land.
Yeah.
So they are my children, and I think I have a responsibility to make sure that they are well educated. It's godly. It's the right thing to do. It's if we focus on education, we'll fix the country.
Yeah.
We'll fix our town. We'll fix our cities. Crime will reduce because people will have hope. Even people who are religious can also. It's easier to communicate to somebody who has some level of education that this is what God wants you to do. So it gives me. It's for me the most important thing I'm doing.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. And I think there's a lot we have learned from you on this. We can keep on talking a lot more about even literacy. And I think we'll have to take another time on Akweya TV with you on this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So thank you for keeping in touch with Akweya TV. We have remained on this subject of education. We have done it in the Akweya language service. We are also continuing in the English service. For those of you who want to see our broadcasts, you can go onto YouTube. Our channel is youtube.com/Akweya TV. And if you want to send us a message or you want to join our WhatsApp group to keep contributing, 09044 800 200 is our line. Send us a message and we'll find a way to get your voice heard. Thank you so much and stay tuned.
Welcome to Akweya News. My name is Idajo Agya with this bulletin. The Benue State Ministry of Education has said that all secondary schools in the state are to be returned back to their host communities and mission who established them. They are to take full responsibility of the school payment of salaries, infrastructural development, and the daily administration of the school. The news of this new policy was received by the principal of Akpa Community Secondary School, Alan Akpa, Mr. Andrew Ogage, who in turn related the news to the leadership of the Akpa Community Development Association. In response, the president of Akpa Community Development Association, Dr. Fidelis Otebe, summoned an emergency meeting of stakeholder community leaders, lecturers, heads of organizations, and former teachers from Akweya. The meeting was convened on Friday, the 5th of June, 2020. The main concern of the meeting was the question of what happened to Akpa Community Secondary School if the government is to withdraw her hold on the school. There were various crisscross of opinion. Some people are of the opinion that the community should press to return the school back to the government and be renamed Government Day Secondary School, as the case may be. Certain questions were put forth to the principal of the school, Mr. Andrew Ogage, to ascertain the current state of the school, moreover to know her numerical strength and the financial energy of the school. According to Andrew Ogage, the school currently has a total population of 240 students. Each pays school fees of 5,060 naira, 9 government teachers, 8 PTA teachers, and 6 non-teaching staffs. The majority of the stakeholders are of the view that the Akpa community have the capacity, the resources, and the manpower to run the school. Barrister Abba Ejimbi, speaking in his capacity as the president of Akweya, said that the Akpa Community Secondary School is an Akweya heritage and must be treasured. He stated our strategies that the Akweya has put in place to take up the funding of the school. Apart from taking 1,000 naira a year from all Akweya indigenes, the Akweya is ready to fund the school in payment of teachers to the tune of the minimum wage of the civil service salary scale of Nigeria. He also said that retired teachers who are still strong and healthy will be engaged and be paid at least the minimum wage of 30,000 naira. Speaking with Akweya TV at the close of the meeting, the national president, Dr. Fidelis Otebe, said the conclusion that was reached was to leave room for any possibility. If the state government agrees to take the school and to turn it to a government day secondary school, they will agree. And if they did not accept to take over the school as a government school, the Akweya people will be ready to take responsibility for the school, he said. In another development, a concerned Akweya man, Honorable Kenneth Angbo, has undertaken the immediate renovation of the school. He was received by the principal, Mr. Andrew Ogage, at the school premises. He carried out an inspection of the infrastructure to ascertain the level of dilapidation. Honorable Angbo assured the principal of the completion of the work before the resumption of the school. Honorable Kenneth Angbo, who is also the chairman of the task force of the COVID-19 of Otukpo local government, also presented a thermometer to the principal of the school. Akweya TV was there to cover the event. The senator representing Zone C, Benue Senatorial District, Senator Abba Moro, has pleaded with the people of Akweya to be patient and wait, as most of the management position of the newly established University of Health Sciences, Akwete, Akpa, has already been given out to some persons. He made this statement when delegates of eminent personalities, captains of industries, community leaders from Akweya paid him a courtesy visit in his house at Ugboklo, Nokpoku local government area of Benue State, on the 6th of June 2020. The purpose of the meeting was to first of all appreciate the distinguished senator for his efforts in the Senate in confirming the establishment of the University of Health Science in Akwete and in Akbaland. The second reason for the visit was to point out a perceived error that the signboard and the papers that has to do with the newly established university is carrying Otukpo instead of Akwete, Akpa, where the school is actually located. Thirdly, to demand that one or two Akweya sons be given one of the key management positions in the university. The delegation was led by the president of the Akpa Community Development Association, ACDA, Dr. Fidelis Otebe. Notable among the Akweya delegates were Honorable Raphael Igbago, Mr. Nicholas Ode, Professor Egri Philip HMB, Barrister Abba HMB, Abba Daudo, Mrs. Kate Omieche, Honorable Justice Ogbogo HMB, Honorable Kenneth Angbo, Teresa Ada Sari, and the host of others. The senator, speaking with Akweya TV in an interview at the end of the meeting, the senator assured the Akweya people of his full help. He said his mission is to follow the footsteps of his predecessor, Senator David Mark, and to ensure the completion of all the good works he started in Zone C, Benue State Senatorial District.
Well, I did promise in the course of my campaigns to become a senator that I will attempt to complete whatever the distinguished Senator David Mark, GCON, the of the Senate of the 6th and 7th Senate, has started, that I will complete them if I can. And exactly that is what is happening now.
That was the distinguished Senator Patrick Abamoro, representing Zone C, Benue Senatorial District, Idajo Aja, Akweya TV.